Have you ever had a moment when someone's words completely stopped you in your tracks? When a single sentence made you question everything you thought you knew about a person? That's what happened to Cassandra on that rainy Friday night, and by the end of this story, you'll understand why it changed not just her evening, but the entire course of her life. If you've ever misjudged someone or been surprised by unexpected depth, hit that like button and subscribe to join our community of storytellers and truth seekers. The rain pounded against the windows of the Copper Lantern, a cozy bar tucked away on a side street in downtown Portland. Cassandra Matthews shook droplets from her umbrella and surveyed the room with practiced ease. Friday nights were her territory, a chance to shed the professional skin she wore as a high-powered marketing executive and just be a woman seeking connection, however temporary. Her gaze settled on a man sitting alone at the far end of the bar. Even from a distance, she could tell he was different from the usual Friday night crowd. No desperate scanning of the room, no obvious posturing. Just a quiet presence as he nursed what looked like a whiskey, occasionally glancing at his phone. Something about his self-contained energy drew her in. Cassandra smoothed her rain-dampened hair and made her way toward him, sliding onto the adjacent bar stool with practiced grace. "Is this seat taken?" she asked, though it clearly wasn't. He looked up, and Cassandra felt an unexpected jolt. His eyes were a striking shade of blue-gray, the color of the ocean during a storm, and they held a depth she hadn't anticipated. Laugh lines framed those eyes, suggesting a life filled with joy despite the hint of weariness she detected. "All yours," he replied with a slight smile that didn't quite reach those remarkable eyes. "I'm Cassandra," she said, extending her hand. "Ethan," he replied, his handshake firm but gentle. "Ethan Reeves." "Bad day or good day?" she asked, nodding toward his drink. "Complicated day," he answered, a hint of something unreadable crossing his face. "But ending better than it started." There was something refreshingly straightforward about him. No games, no obvious agenda. Just a man having a drink at the end of a long day. It intrigued her. "What's your poison?" he asked, gesturing to the bartender. "Gin and tonic, extra lime," Cassandra replied, settling in. As the bartender prepared her drink, she took the opportunity to study Ethan more closely. He was handsome in an understated way, tall with broad shoulders, dark hair with just a touch of silver at the temples, and a strong jawline softened by those expressive eyes. He wore a simple button-down shirt with the sleeves rolled up, revealing forearms corded with lean muscle. A silver watch, not flashy but clearly quality, adorned his left wrist. No wedding ring, she noted automatically. "So what brings you to the Copper Lantern on a rainy Friday?" she asked as her drink arrived. "Honestly? A rare night off," he said. "Thought I'd remember what it's like to have a conversation that doesn't involve Disney princesses or multiplication tables." Cassandra laughed. "Teacher?" A genuine smile spread across his face, transforming it entirely. "Single dad. My daughter is 8. "Ah," Cassandra nodded, filing away this information. Single dads were often easy targets, starved for adult connection, especially female attention. "That must be challenging." "The most challenging and rewarding thing I've ever done," he replied, his expression softening. "But tonight my sister insisted on taking her for a sleepover with her cousins. Said I needed to remember I'm not just Emma's dad, but also still Ethan." "And is Ethan having any luck remembering who he is?" Cassandra asked, leaning slightly closer, letting her perfume drift between them. "It's coming back to me," he said with a small laugh. Slowly. The conversation flowed easily after that. Ethan was an architect who specialized in sustainable design. He spoke passionately about creating spaces that worked in harmony with nature rather than against it. Cassandra found herself genuinely interested, asking questions that went beyond her usual superficial banter. In turn, she told him about her work in marketing, carefully curating the version of herself she presented, ambitious but not intimidating, successful but not threatening. It was a balance she'd perfected over years of navigating male-dominated spaces. 2 drinks became 3, and the bar grew more crowded around them. Cassandra found herself moving closer to hear him over the growing noise, their knees occasionally touching beneath the bar. Each brief contact sent a surprising current through her. There was chemistry here, undeniable and increasingly difficult to ignore. "Want to find somewhere quieter?" she suggested, her voice dropping to a more intimate register. Ethan hesitated, just for a moment, but long enough for Cassandra to notice. Then he nodded. There's a small lounge area in the back. Might be less crowded. He was right. The lounge was dimly lit with comfortable leather couches and low tables. Only a few other patrons occupied the space, speaking in hushed tones. They found a corner spot, and Cassandra deliberately sat close enough that their thighs touched. Ethan didn't move away. As the night progressed, Cassandra employed her well-practiced arsenal of signals, the lingering touch on his arm when he said something amusing, the way she tucked her hair behind her ear to draw attention to her neck, the deliberate crossing and uncrossing of her legs. Ethan responded with increasing warmth, his initial reserve melting away. By midnight, the chemistry between them was palpable. Cassandra leaned in, her lips close to his ear. "My apartment is just 3 blocks from here," she whispered. "We could continue this conversation somewhere more private." She felt him tense slightly, and when she pulled back to look at his face, something had shifted in his expression. He reached for his phone, checked a text message, and then turned the screen toward her. "This is why I need to say goodnight instead," he said simply. The photo showed a little girl with Ethan's same storm blue eyes, fast asleep in a tangle of blankets, clutching a worn stuffed rabbit. Her dark hair was spread across the pillow, and her face held the perfect piece of childhood slumber. "My daughter, Emma," he explained softly. "My sister sends me a goodnight photo whenever Emma stays over. I promised Emma after her mother left that she would never have to wonder where I was or if I was coming back. Not even for one morning." The air between them changed instantly. Not with awkwardness or rejection, but with something Cassandra hadn't expected, a profound respect that cut through the haze of attraction and alcohol. "She's beautiful," Cassandra said, meaning it. "She has your eyes." Ethan's smile was different now, proud, tender, and tinged with something that looked like gratitude. "She's the best of me. Everything good I've ever done or will do." "How long have you been raising her alone?" Cassandra asked, genuinely curious now. 3 years, he replied. Her mother decided parenthood wasn't for her when Emma was 5. Said she felt trapped and needed to find herself. "Last I heard, she was in Bali." There was no bitterness in his voice, just a matter-of-fact acceptance that surprised Cassandra. Most single parents she knew carried their wounds more visibly. "That must have been devastating for both of you," she said. Ethan was quiet for a moment, considering. "For Emma, absolutely. For me, it was clarifying. When someone walks away from their child, they're telling you exactly who they are. I just wish Emma hadn't had to learn that lesson so young." Cassandra felt something shift inside her, a recognition of depth she hadn't anticipated when she'd first approached this man at the bar. She'd seen him as a potential conquest, a way to satisfy a physical need while stroking her own ego. Now she saw a father who had reorganized his entire life around a promise to a little girl. "I should let you get home," she said, surprising herself with how much she meant it. "I've enjoyed talking with you, Cassandra," Ethan said, his eyes warm. "More than I expected to enjoy anything tonight." As they gathered their things and prepared to leave, Cassandra found herself reluctant to end the evening, but not for the reasons she'd anticipated hours earlier. "Would you like to get coffee sometime?" she asked impulsively. Real coffee, in daylight. No agenda. Ethan studied her face, as if trying to read her intentions. Whatever he saw there must have satisfied him, because he smiled, that genuine smile that transformed his entire face. "I'd like that," he said. "Maybe Sunday afternoon?" "Emma has soccer until noon, but after that." "Sunday works," Cassandra replied, feeling strangely nervous, like a teenager arranging a first date rather than a confident woman in her 30s. They exchanged numbers outside the bar, the rain having subsided to a gentle mist that haloed the streetlights. When Ethan leaned in to kiss her cheek goodnight, it felt more meaningful than any passionate embrace Cassandra had experienced in years. "Good night, Cassandra," he said softly. "Thank you for understanding." As she watched him walk away, Cassandra realized that Ethan's one line about his daughter hadn't ended something before it began, it had transformed it into something potentially far more valuable. Sunday arrived with unexpected butterflies in Cassandra's stomach. She changed outfits 3 times before settling on jeans, a soft sweater, and ankle boots, casual but put together. She found herself wondering what Emma was like, if she had her father's quiet intensity or perhaps a spark of something entirely her own. The coffee shop Ethan had suggested was a family-friendly place with mismatched furniture and local art on the walls. Cassandra arrived a few minutes early, claiming a corner table with comfortable chairs. When the door chimed, she looked up to see Ethan entering with a small figure beside him. Emma Reeves was all energy and motion, bouncing slightly as she walked, her hand firmly in her father's. She wore soccer cleats despite being indoors, grass stains on her knees, and her dark hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail. When she spotted Cassandra, she didn't shy away but marched directly to the table. "Are you the lady from the bar?" she asked bluntly. "Dad said he met a nice lady." Cassandra couldn't help but laugh. "I am. I'm Cassandra. You must be Emma." "Yep. I scored 2 goals today. Dad said I was ferocious." "Impressive," Cassandra replied, genuinely charmed. "Ferocious is a good thing to be." Ethan watched this exchange with a mixture of amusement and slight embarrassment. "Sorry," he murmured as Emma darted off to examine the pastry case. "I should have warned you she's not big on filters." "Don't apologize," Cassandra said. "It's refreshing." That first coffee date stretched into 2 hours. Emma dominated much of the conversation, jumping from topic to topic with the boundless energy of childhood. Cassandra found herself drawn into Emma's world of soccer rivalries, classroom politics, and strong opinions about everything from climate change, "We need to save the polar bears," like, yesterday, to literature, "Harry Potter is okay but Percy Jackson is better because Annabeth is smarter than Hermione." Throughout it all, Ethan was patient and attentive, gently redirecting when Emma's enthusiasm threatened to overwhelm, but never shutting down her exuberance. The way he parented, present but not controlling, loving but not indulgent, revealed more about him than any resume or dating profile ever could. When Emma finally ran out of steam, collapsing dramatically against her father's side with declarations of starvation, Ethan suggested they continue their conversation over an early dinner at the pizza place next door. "Only if you want to," he added quickly. "I know this isn't exactly what you signed up for." Cassandra surprised herself with her answer, "Actually, it's better." Over the weeks that followed, Cassandra found herself drawn deeper into the Reeves family orbit. Sunday coffee became a regular tradition, sometimes followed by a movie or a trip to the Science Museum. Occasionally, when Emma had playdates or activities with her aunt, Cassandra and Ethan would have adult time, quiet dinners or walks along the riverfront where they gradually revealed more of themselves to each other. Cassandra learned that Ethan had given up a partnership track at a prestigious architectural firm to start his own smaller practice that allowed him more flexibility for Emma. He learned that beneath Cassandra's polished exterior was a woman who had built walls around herself after watching her parents' toxic marriage implode in her teens. "I decided relationships were just transactions," she admitted one evening as they walked along the waterfront. "Physical needs, social expectations, career advantages. Keep it simple, keep it controlled." "And now?" Ethan asked quietly. Cassandra looked at him, really looked at him, in the fading light. "Now I'm not so sure." The first time Ethan kissed her properly was on her doorstep after their 6th official date. It was gentle but certain, a promise rather than a demand. When he pulled back, his eyes searching hers, Cassandra felt something crack open inside her, a vulnerability she'd spent years guarding against. "I should go," he said softly. "Emma's waiting up." "I know," Cassandra replied, touching his face. "Go. We have time." That was the gift Ethan had given her without realizing it, the understanding that real connection couldn't be rushed or forced. It grew in its own time, like the sustainable buildings he designed, in harmony with the natural rhythms of life. Their relationship deepened gradually. Cassandra began to understand the complex choreography of single parenthood, the constant balancing act, the guilt that shadowed even the happiest moments, the bone-deep exhaustion that came from being everything to someone. She witnessed Ethan navigate Emma's occasional meltdowns, her questions about her absent mother, her fears and triumphs. 6 months in, Emma had a spectacular breakdown after losing an important soccer game. As Ethan held his sobbing daughter in the middle of the field, Cassandra stood awkwardly to the side, unsure of her place in this intimate family moment. "Cass," Emma called suddenly, her tear-streaked face turning toward her. "Cass, come here." Hesitantly, Cassandra approached, and to her shock, Emma launched herself from her father's arms into hers. The weight of this child, this fierce, brilliant, complicated child, in her arms felt like both a responsibility and a privilege. They cheated, Emma hiccuped against her shoulder. The referee didn't see but they did. I know, sweetheart, Cassandra murmured, stroking Emma's tangled hair. Sometimes life isn't fair. But you played with integrity, and that matters more than winning. Over Emma's head, her eyes met Ethan's. The look on his face, a mixture of tenderness, gratitude, and something deeper, took her breath away. That night, after Emma had finally fallen asleep, exhausted from emotion, Ethan and Cassandra sat on his porch swing in comfortable silence. Thank you, he said finally. For today. For understanding her. She makes it easy, Cassandra replied honestly. She's extraordinary. Like her father? Ethan teased gently. Cassandra turned to face him fully. Yes, she said seriously. Exactly like her father. The first time Cassandra stayed the night at Ethan's house was carefully planned. Emma knew in advance, helped prepare the guest room, and solemnly presented Cassandra with a spare toothbrush still in its packaging. Dad says you're having a sleepover, Emma informed her. But not in his room because that would be inappropriate until we're more of a family unit. Cassandra nearly choked on her water while Ethan turned an impressive shade of red. Emma, he groaned. We talked about private conversations. Sorry, Emma said, not looking particularly sorry. But it's true, right? Yes, Ethan admitted, meeting Cassandra's eyes with a mixture of embarrassment and sincerity. It is true. That night, after Emma was asleep, Cassandra and Ethan sat on the couch, his arm around her shoulders, her head resting against him. I'm not rushing you, he said quietly. Or us. I need you to know that. I know, Cassandra replied. It's one of the things I love about you. The word hung between them, neither acknowledging it directly but both feeling its weight. That night at the bar, Cassandra said after a moment. When you showed me Emma's picture instead of coming home with me. Did you know then what you were starting? Ethan was quiet for a long moment, his fingers tracing patterns on her shoulder. No, he admitted finally. I just knew I couldn't be the man you wanted that night and still be the father Emma needed the next morning. I couldn't compartmentalize like that. You changed everything.